Just a short video to show progress on my 500 Plus. I've got the Vampire V2 Plus off. I've replaced this capacitor here so that I could lay it down because it was fouling the Vampire ever so slightly. I've got my RGBtoHDMI in here, which I've had working and which is lovely. I've got this set up so that if I unplug it and let it go, it doesn't try and rack off into another dimension. So this is the HDMI output. We'll have a little bit more of a look at that in just a moment. Get that to lay down a little bit more. I don't want to twist this excessively either, but as you can see, that's fairly happy to just stay in position there once it gets to the thing. It's not being sort of all... I'm not using the RGBtoHDMI to actually hold the cable in place. It's sitting there quite happily. So that's that. Commodore, could you have put that in an any more inconvenient location? So you've seen the breakout box that goes on the side for Ethernet, RTG and micro SD from the Vampire. So that's to be installed, but that's the last step. We've got RGBtoHDMI working. I've shown before the little female to female pass-through adapters I've got for doing that, or socket to socket. And I have got, wait till you see my filing work. Look at that. Got it just so. It was a bit terrifying. I put it in position here and then I drew around it, pulled it all out and drilled some holes, and then just started with a round file, moved on to a flat file. Files with what are called a safety edge are a great help. That is, you got the, hang on, I'll show you. We've got the file and this edge cuts, but this edge is smooth. Very helpful. And then because I need this thing a bit wider to do the sides, I got out this Aldi precision file. It's a push fit. To stop myself from going down too low, which is always easy to do, I had a stack of cut post-it notes on the bottom, and that meant too that I don't have as much of a stress riser in this back corner. There's actually a little bit of the back wall, and it's a press fit, and there's a piece of double-sided tape under it, which I could do because of having left a little bit of space. Very tricky work. I could try and do it again tomorrow and not do nearly as good a job. It's you know, one of those things, and you can't sort of measure it because you know, you can see the clearance between these posts and all that is really close. There's no regular features to measure off. I mean, it's possible to do it with all the right gear and measurement, like proper measurement stands and dial test indicators and stuff. You could transfer it from the inside to the outside. It would not be trivial though. So I just kept test fitting it and was patient. So I'm really happy with that. That looks just so. Really happy with it actually. So I've got to put all the screws back in here, put the floppy drive in, press the Vampire into here. The Vampire is currently in this box bag, and you can see this little white, I made that on the lathe. It's at the right height so that the Vampire isn't flapping around up this end. Just sits down. It's no good if the computer's upside down, but that's not the normal case. So I may even call this quits now. I'm pretty tired. Oh, one other thing. One moment please, I'll just grab the part. Oh no, I must have brought it back in. There's a great big metal, what am I done with it? Maybe I did like with the friend of mine says to Captain America it. It's frozen. There's a big metal RF shield that goes in the bottom and can block all these air vents up quite thoroughly. Not that there's a lot of clearance under there for the air to pass through, but once you've got the plastic no shorty outy sheet and the metal tin, there's no way for air to pass along the bottom of the board and so on, and the Vampire runs fairly warm, and so the opportunity for air to get into the case is very limited. I mean, I've actually even mucked this up slightly, but not nearly as badly as the RF shield can. I may even make a hole in the door down here, a very tasteful hole, maybe an array of drilled holes or something, I don't know, just to help air get through this case. But the other thing I've done though is to reinforce all the ports on the back. There's this piece of laser cut stainless steel that I got from a seller called Centurion Tech, and it ties all of the ports together and helps to reinforce them across the back of the case. I have another 500 that I've set up just as a real sort of games banger with a Gotek that goes into one of these ports. I kind of wish I'd bought two, but the 500 with just the Gotek in it doesn't run nearly as hot as this, so I needed to optimize air flow in this case every little bit that I could. And I don't know how much it helps, but just sort of doing it as best as I can. So that's some progress. I could show reassembly of this, I suppose, but like I said, I'm pretty tired. This has been a pretty involved job. I mean, just this capacitor is attached to a massive ground plane and a massive power trace. It was just a huge amount of work to get all this done right, but I think this will be the test. You get to see me do this and either cheer or panic if it doesn't clear everything. There's a washer on there that's, there we go. Yeah, look at that. It goes over the, wow, I'm so pleased with myself. I could put a bit of hot glue on the back of there too if I wanted to, but honestly didn't even need the tape. It's a quite a soft plastic, the adapter, and it's a really nice press fit. Just had a really good day with the file. Anyway, I think it should be obvious that this is on track to be a wicked 500 plus. We've got Agnes and Denise's video, well, Denise's video coming out over HDMI. We've got a Vampire to go in there that'll make it 200 times faster than the old 68,000, around about. We've got retargetable graphics that'll come out on that sidecar connector over here, along with Ethernet and micro SD to move data, as another option to move data on and off the compact flash card on the Vampire, in addition to being able to do it, say, over FTP or just get stuff straight from AmiNet over the web. So that's the setup. I will be filled with anticipation when I get all this back together. Hopefully this cable hasn't been stretched beyond its its limits at any point in this process. Does this still line up nicely? Yeah, as nicely as it ever did. That won't be a problem. So yeah, I mean, I had a big box Amiga growing up, but some of my friends had 500s, my cousin too, and they're awesome and they really look the part. And ironically, apart from lacking a bridge board, although emulating an XT in software with a Vampire shouldn't be a problem with something like PC Task, this will be by far the most powerful and flexible Amiga that I have. I'm really looking forward to it. I've also got a StarTech priority based HDMI switcher, which should automatically, when the RTG turns off, it should automatically fail over to the Amiga's video output as well, so I won't need a second monitor or any of that. It'll just do its thing. So yeah, pretty exciting. But I don't need to rush, and I'm tired, so rather than getting into a tiz and buttoning it up in a hurry and not making all the right checks, I'm going to call it a day, and it'll be waiting for me for some more fun tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I say, short of AGA, this is where it's at. 2 meg of chip RAM, and the Vampire accelerator is a treat indeed. By configuring the FPGA to be an old school processor essentially, at a ridiculous speed, it's sort of tantamount to someone having fired up a fab and actually made a 6800 Extremo here in the 21st century. Other options like a PyStorm, I think these days are faster, but I'm somewhat romanced by the idea that the FPGA, once configured, is for all purposes a Amiga compatible CPU, and that in my view is really special. Alright, don't know what the next video will look like. I don't know there'll be a whole lot to see. I might take it to an exhibition somewhere, and certainly take it to my local Canberra Amiga club. Maybe I'll see you there.